We are actually trying to deal with the question, what's the difference between leadership and management? That's what we'll spend our time trying to do. It is a question that has been asked more than once and answered in many, many different ways. So you're not the first ones. It's a very confusing subject. The biggest difference between the managers and leaders is the way they motivate the people who work. That's what I was looking for. That both of them have to deal with people. One motivates one way, the other one motivates another way. Or followers, people who work or people who follow them. And this sets the tone for most other aspects of what the two do. Many people, by the way, are both. So do not assume, that's why it was a tricky question I was asking you. You can be both a leader and manager. At one time, you are functioning as a leader. At another time, you are functioning as, just like you can be a mother and you can be a teacher. And when you are at home, you are a mother. When you come, your child is sitting in your class, and now you don't treat your child like a mother. You treat the child as a teacher. You are the same person. So it's possible to be actually both. Because you need management for things to happen. They have management jobs if you are going to get things done, and you must realize that you cannot buy hearts, especially for followers. It's a difficult path to let followers follow you. So you must act both as a manager and a leader. And that is important for us. And you can stop me in a moment if I confuse you, you can stop me and I will come. Now, we start with the first one. Managers have subordinates. Leaders do not have subordinates. Managers have. So if you are called a manager, you must show me who is your subordinate. You cannot use a word manager if you have no subordinates. By definition, managers have subordinates unless their title is honorary. You're being called honorary manager because then you have nobody to follow you. Because the management is a title of seniority and authority. And therefore, to be called a manager, if you are honorary, is a misnomer. Because you have no power over others. If you are called a manager, you must have a subordinate. Means you have power over him. That is very, very... So that's the first differentiation. That if you are a manager, you must have a subordinate, you must have power over them. Remember we say the biggest differentiating thing is motivation. If I'm your boss sister, if you don't do what I do, utaona chamutema kuni. But if I'm a leader, I can't do that. You just tell me go home. Do what you want. Because I have no power over you. So the way I motivate you, if I'm a manager, is I just tell you, I want this work by 3 o'clock. Have you understood? Go. If you don't do it by 3 o'clock, there'll be trouble, isn't it? So you still work very hard. Not because you like me, but because you fear what I will do. I'm talking as a manager. And there's people who are sometimes chairmen, and that's the way they behave. So we have said the first thing is managers are for subordinates. Number 2, managers have a position of authority. Managers are position of authority. And that's what we call authoritarian rule. Transactional style. Managers are position of authority vested in them by the company or by the organization. And their subordinates work for them. You can say, so that guy works for me. That means you are his boss. And largely do as they are told. Subordinates do as they are told. Management style is transactional. Either the manager tells the subordinates what to do, and the subordinate does this, not because they are blind or robot, but because they have been promised a reward. In other words, it's not that you are a fool. It is that you know that you get something after you work, isn't it? Because you don't want to lose a salary, you will do, even if you don't like what I'm asking you to do, you do. Are you getting the idea of management? So management is transactional. The only way of working in management is there is something you can give. If I can't give you anything, I can't make things happen. There must be something you are getting from me for you to obey me. Are you getting the point? That's a manager, because basically it's transactional. There's a transaction. is give and take. You know, number 3, there is a work focus. In management, is work focus. Because managers are paid to do things. And some of you actually said that. A manager is a doer. Their subordinates are also supposed to be doing things. Often with the tight constraints of time and money. They have a budget which they cannot allow to pass. They thus naturally pass on this work focus to subordinates. In other words, you don't have to be my friend. We are here to work. Oh, I don't like you. You don't have to like me. We are workmates. Are you getting the point? That's a working atmosphere. Where what matters is you are a clerk, I am a supervisor, we work together even if you don't like me. Once you're out of work, you don't even have to greet me. But here you do whatever I say. Are you getting the idea of management? The next thing is that the managers seek comfort, relatively, and they are relatively risk averse. A manager does not want to lose, so he does what will not be too big a risk. They are risk averse. That means they try to avoid risk. An interesting research finding about managers is that they tend to come from stable home backgrounds and led relatively normal and comfortable lives. They grew up in a stable family, they want to be managers, they don't want to take risks. This leads them to be relatively risk averse, and they will seek to avoid conflict where possible. In terms of people, they generally like to run a happy ship. They want everybody to be in agreement. They don't want to take a risk. Leaders are risk takers, like we'll be seeing in a minute. But managers want to manage so that they don't end up with a loss. Let's now take a bit of time now to talk about the leaders. Whereas managers have subordinates, leaders have followers. You see the difference? I can talk, and the reason you listen to me is if I convince you you need to listen to me. I have no power to make you listen. So I can't manage you. I can only lead you. And leaders do not have subordinates, they have followers. And the word follower is a very interesting word. Follower means voluntary. I am following. Because you see, I am not being pulled along. I am. Do you get the difference? A follower is somebody who voluntarily follows. A subordinate must come offended. A follower means a choice. So you need to understand the two are different. That's why sometimes you need managers, sometimes you have because followers, leadership is a much more difficult thing to do. Because that means you must convince the followers why they should follow you. Leaders, therefore, must be the type of people that are admired. Many organizational leaders do have subordinates, but only because they are also managers. You can be a leader with a manager. And sometimes you have subordinates and sometimes you have followers. But as a leader, you cannot have a subordinate. When they want to lead, they have to give up formal authoritarian control because the leading must have followers. In other words, although I could be the vice chancellor of this university, there may be something I want to introduce that is so difficult for the students that I will have to stop being a vice chancellor and become a leader. As a leader, I have to earn your respect. I have to earn your allegiance. You have to admire me to the extent you want to do what I'm saying. Are you getting the difference? So, as a vice chancellor, I can say, you do what I say unless you want to go to visit your mother. And you have to, because otherwise you check you out of school, isn't it? But you can see the difference. So what we are saying is that you can have a manager who is also a leader. And there are times for certain things he does not want to be a manager. He must denounce his managership and now introduce his leadership. Because following is always a voluntary activity. You know, leaders are charismatic. Charismatic means they have charisma. They have power from within and they are inspirational. Number 2, leaders are transformational. They tend, rather than managing things as they are, They want to transform the things from the way they are to the way they should be. Are you getting the difference? Telling people what to do does not inspire them to follow you. That is management. You wake up. That's management. You have to appeal to them, showing them how following them will lead to their heart's desire. So telling you, stand up. Say, by the way, the air is so clean here. If only you are standing up. Try it. Now, you now stand up, not because I told you to stand, but because you want to smell the air up here. Are you getting the difference? If I'm a manager, I say, madam, stand up. What are you doing sitting down? If I'm a leader, I describe the air. Until you are so attracted, you also want the air. Am I communicating? So that's what the difference will be. And you can tell when somebody is a manager and when somebody is... So I must identify your heart's desire and then promise you I'll meet it. Then you say, by the way, I've just come from... I was speaking to, I don't know whether the Dean of Students in Desta was there, but there are about 153 Deans of Students in Manzoni who are being trained by HELP. You know HELP? Yes. Yeah, so they are the ones who had instructed me to train the Deans of Students. And that's why I was not sure whether I can make it today until they told me they will release me. And when they are there, I was trying to challenge them. Sometimes Deans of Students use their title, isn't it? But you know, if you use your leadership skill, you are going to end up with that. Anybody follow you, you don't have to chop at them, isn't it? You move together. And that's why it's an important thing to understand. So you must identify what is the people you are leading in, what is their desire. People cannot follow you unless you are meeting their desire. So one of the biggest jobs in a leader is to understand with what the people require. Then show them where they can get it. So if I tell them I've just come from Manzoni, and at the Primosa, it's the farm opposite to the entry to, is it called Primot? Remarosa. I just saw somebody giving everybody 3 rose flowers, and it is yours for the taking. Assuming you like flowers, I will just follow me. Say, by the way, I'm giving you a lift. Now, even if you're in class, you say, please excuse me, I'm going for 3 rose flowers. That assumes, of course, me, if you promise me a rose flower, I will not follow you. But, but there are people who like rose flowers. So I must find out what is your rose flower, then give you. Are we together? You have to appeal to somebody's heart's desire for him to follow you. They must want to follow you enough to stop what they are doing and perhaps walk into danger and situations that they would not normally consider risky. In other words, like those of you who were there last night, I told you yesterday as I was driving out of Desta, we found we are not in agreement whether it was a leopard or what's the other animal similar to a leopard? Cheetah. Because the way it was running, me I thought it was cheetah, my passenger thought it was a leopard. Now, if I tell you there are flowers and you like flowers, even if you know there is a leopard that passed, after all it doesn't pass every minute, you still go for the flowers, isn't it? But for you to voluntarily take a risk of a leopard passing, you have to really have a desire for flowers. Am I right? So if you're a leader, you must find out what is the heart desire of those people. They must follow you enough to take risks on the journey to where you are taking them. Leaders, therefore, must have a strong charisma that will make it easier for them to attract to their cause. You know, like Kenyatta, our first president, the Wazungus had beaten up us so sincerely that by the time of 1940s, the Second World War, now Kenyan African thought it's too much. There's nothing you can do. You know, you are shooting with an arrow, they just shoot with a gun, you are dead. Then Kenyatta comes and says, we can actually tackle them. We can actually kill them. To start the Mau Mau required not management but leadership. To show them these people can go. They had already been around for 40 years. And say they can go. Can they? Yes. Those politicians tell us that he told them, my job will be to hold the snake from the head. And when I hold it, it's going to swim. Many of you will be knocked down. Are you ready? Yes. That's how they started the Mau Mau War. When he showed them, He is not going to run away himself. He will just hold the animal by the head. Now, if you remember, you're talking about you becoming leaders, isn't it? You need to identify what is it that the people have an inner desire for. Then charismatically showing them so they feel with you. You must talk in a language they understand, their language, so that they go with you to wherever you are going. So they must have charisma as a leader. But as a part of their position, they typically promise transformation. They promise a change. That's why we call them that leaders are transformational. So that their followers will not just receive rewards, intrinsic rewards. They will live in a better life. Are you getting the difference? A manager promises you a salary. A leader promises you a new life. Are you getting the difference? So that as you go, you're not just after a few shillings. You're after living in a new way. You know, next, leaders are, remember we say managers have a task focus. Leaders have a people focus. People focus. Although many leaders have a charismatic style to some extent, this does not require a loud personality. They are always good with people and quiet styles that give credit to others. And they take blame for themselves, effectively creating the loyalty that great leaders engender. They are so interested. In other words, the reason people follow a leader is because they see the leader, they reflect themselves in the leader. You know, you look at her eyes and you can see yourself. I see that leader is representing me. His desire is my desire. You are a manager if you are interested in the task. Lisa, what's wrong with you, Lisbon? That's a manager. But if you are a leader, you put yourself in the shoe of the worker, of the follower, and then you feel like him. You understand like him. So if somebody understands you so thoroughly, you want to follow him, isn't it? That's what you're talking about. So if you really want leadership, then people must see you as interested in what they are interested in. Although many leaders have a charismatic style to some extent, this does not require a loud personality. Do not think that you have to be a sanguine. You know personality trait, isn't it? Yes. You don't have to be a sanguine to be a leader. Some leaders are very, very quiet. You know, I was told the other day by somebody who was a neighbor of Odinga, Raila, that he is a very shy man. When you meet him on one-on-one, only the wife talks. You find out to say, but Mheshimiwa, unasema nini? The wife is one answering. Now, the difference is, when he stands up, he talks and he gets following, isn't it? But his personality is not sanguine. He will not know how to begin a discussion, just like that. You need to, and one, of course, you know, we all agree that Raila is one of the most moving leaders we have in Kenya. He moves masses. Would you agree with me? Yes. So you need to understand it's not a personality issue. It's charisma does not mean that you must be loud, you must act on the stage. No. It just means when you talk, people hear themselves. You getting my point? You are able to talk in a language that quite resonates with the people who are listening to you, and they can go with you. They are always good with people. A leader is always good with people. He can do it in quiet styles, but whichever way, it gives them credit to others. Although leaders are good with people, this does not mean they are friendly with them. In order to keep the mistake of leadership, they often retain a degree of separation and aloofness. In other words, you don't quite know him, but you feel like he is yours. This does not mean that leaders do not pay attention to tasks. In fact, they are often very achievement-focused. What they do realize, however, is that the importance of enthusing others to work towards their position. In other words, a leader must still be interested in where you are going, isn't it? But his interest is, if I convince you, the job will be done. Not by forcing you to do the job. So I don't emphasize the job, I emphasize what you are gaining, so you work. Are you getting the difference? That's really what we are saying. We also say that managers are risk averse, leaders are risk takers. They really actually seek out the risk. But I must say they are not blind. They are not real seekers. So see the difference. Leaders are risk takers, but not real seekers. You know, thrill is you just take a risk to feel nice. You die! Even if I die, I'll feel the thrill. Have you met people like that? Who take just a risk for the sake of a risk? No. Leaders take calculated risk. They are risk seekers, not thrill seekers. They're not just looking for a nice feeling.